Hi guys, ArchieLuxury on the Pluta channel. Today I'm doing paid review 21QA147. Wristwatch check, and I'm wearing my Speedy. I love my man on the moon. Now this here is from Brian. Paul, I need a collection review, but I'd like you to keep this under the Pluta channel. I've sent you $100. Why do you think there is a Rolex shortage? Is it because of supply limiting, or because Asian buyers are buying up collections? I believe Rolex is limiting supply to make themselves exclusive, driving up demand. A Daytona is now selling pre-owned for over $30,000, which is interesting. Why or how do you put up with hateful people on YouTube? That said, they don't really matter at the end of the day. I want to be well, act well, and thrive. Negative people are often the first to comment on any forum. I find you to be a sincere person and have been watching for years. You reviewed my watch collection a few times, and I like your advice. How do you ignore negativity in your life? This is something with which I struggle. Politics, dangerous to discuss. YouTube and other forums are actively stifling free speech, feigning concern for virtue. This political correctness is dumbing down society, but I wanted your thoughts. Are your Australian schools buying into the same absurdity as US schools? Critical race theory, making kids hate themselves or hating people based on ethnicity. I don't condone hate speech, but I do support free speech, and hate speech is being expanded to censor movies like Aeroplane, Mark Twain books, poems from the 12th century, art from the Romans, etc. Read up on the book Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Valgut. We are there today, and we are going to be a lot dumber for it. We need history to learn from to prevent future mistakes. Ignoring or erasing history is a bad idea to me. By same token, both US political parties want to divide people to conquer. What is your perception from Australia? As far as watches go, do you think Tudor will ever attain the resale craziness of Rolex? I do. I believe 20 years from now, discontinued Tudor models will sell for premiums. I like everything Tudor is doing lately. Why isn't JLC on par with other watchmakers? Their quality is amazing. Thank you. And this is for Brian. So he's I'd like you to do a collection review. So this here is for Brian, and I got to say, Brian, wow, you've really set the cat amongst the pigeons, and I'm going to try and do this one here some justice. We will try and get this baby happening here on the channel. That's what I like to do. I want to give good value to the punters. So let's go through and we'll answer some of these questions here. Okie dokie. So this here's he's actually you know what? I could sort of break this down a bit. What do I do here, guys? I tell you what. I'll try and answer this in the video here. So let's have a look here. So let's go through this. We'll critique it and we'll see what happens. Why do you think there is a Rolex shortage? And I got to say, you know what? I think it's a number of factors. I really do think you Americans may not be aware, but in countries like South Korea and Japan, they have death duties 50%. And you want to put money into an off-ledger asset. The Yakuza's been using wristwatches for years. So I got to be totally honest with you. There's a number of factors. Watches seem to be very cool. With the growing of the middle class in China, I tend to think most people in China are poor, yes, but there's a percentage who are very wealthy and a percentage who are up and coming middle class, and Chinese love consumer goods. They're going crazy to get Rolex. So why do you think there is a shortage? My own opinion is I think it's more to do with the supply and demand. Many people are wanting these things, particularly the Chinese market. I think that is certainly the case there. Is it because of supply limiting? Now, this is an interesting question. It certainly could be. Is it because of supply limiting? I think Rolex is possibly, see, they're very cagey on figures they release. But I would generally say there, I don't think Rolex is halving the production. They are just, they may be reducing it by 10% because of pandemic and just different fears from the past. But I think, I honestly think it's the people want the watches. The other thing is, I really do believe is that go back 20 years ago, a really good collection may be 5 watches. Nowadays, a decent collection is 10, 20 watches. So many people are building collections far bigger than they ever envisaged in the past. I remember years ago in the late 90s, I had 5 Rolexes, and people said, wow, why would you have 5? That's what they said to me. Why would you do that? So I got to be completely honest with you and say, that's, in my opinion there, I think the collections are getting much bigger. People have much more, they're putting much more disposable income into it. So it's a number of factors. I also think this world where we're living in here, there aren't many off-ledger assets where you could squirrel away money and you're going to rise with inflation. You might even make money in a bit of speculation. And I got to be honest with you. I got to be totally honest with you. As far as the Rolex goes, it is a fabulous hedge against inflation. It's somewhere you can hide money. The problem is, say you want to hide $100,000. Well, what do you put it in? Do you keep it as cash? You keep it in a bank account? Do you buy property? So you want it off ledger, meaning there's no deeds or things like that. Watches is a really good commodity-based thing because there's not many things you could buy at retail and get your money back. This is the big thing. And watches are proving to be a fabulous investment for that there. Now, just reading his thing, he said, I believe Rolex is limiting supply. I think they possibly are, but I still think Rolex is probably producing just short of 1 million watches a year. And that's they've done that for a while. So I don't think they're making 100,000 watches a year. They may be making 800,000 or 900,000, but I don't think they are making 100,000 watches a year. So I think it's more just excessive demand more than limited supply there. The Daytonas have gone crazy. Daytonas have gone absolutely nuts. Check out any dealers there. You can see that they've got, the Pandas are going for huge money. So I got to be totally honest with you there. I honestly the way I see it, I think the Daytonas themselves, they are just a hedge. They've always, for the last 30 years, they've been very much in demand. And the funny thing is, before that, they weren't so much wanted. So I would say Rolex, the Rolex shortage situation is here to stay. So I'm going to make that the first part of this question. I'm going to make another video because we can put another title up. So this is the first bit. Stay tuned, and I will make the next one. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends, and don't be afraid to get a paid review. $50 for a paid review. It helps me stay full-time on YouTube, and I will see you in the next one. $50 paid review. I can't survive on Google Ads. I need your support. And guys, you could also sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay as little as $1 a month to keep me on YouTube. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.